Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, we're going to take a look at Translate, the service Amazon Translate. A very straightforward service. What it will do is you will provide a text and it will turn it into another language. So here's an example. I've just gone over to the Amazon Translate service in the Management Console. And what we can do is just specify source. We'll say, hello, this is Andrew Brown utilizing Amazon Translate. Okay, and so you can see that it's already trying to do translation over here, but it's going from English to English, which doesn't really matter. Go over to Spanish, which I can kind of read to some degree. Okay, and so there we have our translation. So that's interesting, but how would we actually utilize this with an application? We do have this application integration down below, which looks like what the API looks like for requests and JSON responses. So I'm not that interested in that, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead and make a code example, make sure we know how to use this with the SDK, because that's going to be the real way that people are going to be utilizing this. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in Gitpod. You, of course, use whatever cloud developer environment or local development environment that you want to utilize. I just like to use Gitpod because it's really easy to utilize. And so I'll just give that a moment to start up, okay? All right, so this is started up here. I'm going to make sure that I have access programmatically at AWS. So I'm going to do AWS STS get caller identity, and we'll see if I actually have access. Looks like I do have access to my AWS examples account, so I should be able to start working with that. So I like to use Ruby. That's just the language I find very easy to use. I'm going to go ahead and type in AWS Ruby SDK version 3, and we'll look for translate. And so I'll go over to here to the docs. And in here, this should be the translate service. This is pretty straightforward in terms of working with Ruby. So go ahead and make a new folder here. This will be called translate. And I'll make a new file here called main.rb. All right, and we will paste in our client. We're going to need to install the actual gem. This one seems to be called AWS SDK Translate. So I'm going to make a new bundle file. So I'm going to just cd into my translate directory. And we'll say bundle init. And even if like Ruby is not your favorite language to utilize, you should really follow along here because I do try to utilize a bunch of different languages in these labs so that you get good utilizing whatever language it is. So go ahead and type in bundle install. Okay, that should install that for the gem. So that is now required there. Often it wants something like aux installed, and that's probably for Rails, so we don't have to worry about that. But now that we have that, we'll just require that gem. So we'll say AWS what was it called? AWS SDK Translate. Okay, and so this is going to pick up my local credentials. You can pass credentials here, make a credentials object, but I have environment variables loaded into my environment to do that. And so down below here, we will want to run a translation, so we can translate a document or text. I'm going to go ahead and utilize text today. I'm going to copy this example here and paste it in. And we said bound length string, so this is going to be our text. I'm going to go back over to here, grab this line, and just paste that in as such. I'm going to assume that this is our text. I'm not sure what terminology names is, but that's why it's good to go through the API or and see what these things differ. So here we have technology name, the name of the technology list file to add for translation jobs. So I guess if we're adding terminologies that are not standard, we could add those there. I'm going to take that out because we don't need to do that. Source language code. I'm going to assume this is just like EN and then Spanish would be ES, I believe. Then we have different tonalities if we want to utilize that. I didn't know that we could do that, so that's kind of cool. We could mask profanities or make it brief. I'm going to take these settings out. I just want to leave it to whatever the defaults are. And so it looks like those are the three things we're going to need. I'm going to bring in binding pry because I want to be able to inspect the output here. So say a pry here. We'll go back and go ahead and do bundle install. And also, I'm just looking at my audio. I was on a podcast with Free Code Camp, and so with Quincy, by the way. And I think my audio levels are a bit different. So apologies for this video as it's going to be a little bit larger than other ones, but I've just adjusted it back to normal. But anyway, so we have binding pry here. I'm going to go to the top and say require pry. I'll go down below, say binding pry. And so I want to go ahead and run the script now. So I'm going to say bundle exec Ruby main. So the reason we do bundle exec in front of it is that it does in the context of the gem file, so that it will load all of our the gems that we're utilizing here. It's just how it works. We could install them without bundler, but that's not how I want to do it. And so here's complaining about aux. I figured we'd have to do something like that. Aux, no kogiri, which one of these it wants. So we'll go ahead and do that. Say no kogiri. That's the standard one that everybody knows. This is still happening to me for Gitpod. When I have this issue where I'm typing and it messes up, I just have to refresh this environment here. Refresh Explorer. I'll just hit refresh at the top here. It's really annoying. I've told Gitpod to like try to fix this, but they don't do nothing about it. I thought it was one of my gems, but or one of my extensions, but anyway, you'll hear me complaining about it in other videos, I'm sure. Bundle, install, okay. I think we already did that. And I'm just gonna go hit up and say bundle exec Ruby main. And so since we have a pry, it's now in this mode, so I can inspect the object, say res. And so there's my translated text. So if I wanted to grab that, I'd take res translated text like that. Okay, so I can just copy this here. We'll go back over to our main file. Not sure why it's having a hard time loading here. Come on. Any day now. Let's work. Just give me a moment here, okay? You know what it is? It's my internet. I'll be back here when my internet's back, okay? All right, my internet is back. Okay, and so, yeah, we were doing that example there. I wanted to go to my main.rb. And what I wanted to do is just copy and paste this text here. Whoops. We'll copy and paste that text here. And we'll just place that in there. We'll just say puts. Okay. And so I'm just going to go ahead and type an exit down here below. We'll run that again, and we just want to see that our translation is working. And there we go. So that is as simple as it gets. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this code. We'll just say AWS translate code. And I'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.